And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is a Wednesday edition of the YSN Power Hour brought to you by our friends at Toyota. What are you laughing about?
Oh God! Okay. Now I'm getting back to the profession. It took
Another
me a second.
another day, another day with Damian Stone, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
another day with Damien.
Scotty Mincher joins us as he does every Wednesday here at the Athletic Studios here in Columbiana, Ohio, home of the greatest mecca in sports history, the athletics facility. Just a ton of opportunity for you to come hang out and get better at sports, get better at life in general, because there's a lot of things you can do. You could work out here. There's a concession stand right next to us. There's volleyball courts, turf. We've got batting cages, all kinds of stuff here. Make sure you're checking out Athletics. If you've never been here, you need to get here today. It's Athletics Route 7 right here in Columbiana. Scotty Mincher, I said, join the show. Scotty, we got a very special show because this is one of those shows that I love because we get to talk about our predictions for the National Football League. And if you know Scotty and I, you know that we hardly ever have the same predictions on any team. So this is one of my favorite episodes, almost at issues of the year in talking football with Scooter. So let's waste no time and let's get right down to it, Scotty. Who is your biggest surprise team of 2023?
Biggest surprise team of 2023. I am going to go. I think it's gonna be the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Jags.
I think the Jags take a lead this year.
What do you like about them?
Um, I just think that Trevor Lawrence. I think he's scratching this, just scratching the surface of his potential. They plus they play in a division that's less than a juggernaut. So I think even if they get off to a slow start early, they'll be hanging around all season. Like it's not gonna hurt them if they stumble out of the gate. But I just think they have some good ascending young pieces on defense, and everybody's talking about the Chiefs and the Bengals. You get talk of the Bills, and then you get talk of everyone's talking about what a juggernaut the AFC North is going to be. But there's teams lost in the shuffle. I think Jacksonville is my number one. And then if you wanted to do like a 1A, I would put the Dolphins in there too. I think they're getting
Ooh.
slept on.
Ooh, okay. All right. Well, I'm going to stay in that AFC East for my surprise team of the year. And it might be a surprise to some. Others might say that it is destiny calling. I'm going to go with the New York Jets. I think they are going to surprise a lot of people. A lot of people. When you've got Aaron Rodgers, a multiple MVP type caliber quarterback, I think that he's going to make. And then you got Dalvin Cook in the backfield with him, with Brees Hall. So, I mean, and he's got weapons all around him. He's got receivers for days. I really think that the Jets are going to be a team that not only are they going to make a run, but they are going to set the standard in what used to be the Patriots division. And now the Patriots are on the bottom looking up at the Jets, the Bills, and the Dolphins, which I think that's going to be a rat race to the top of that division as well. So I'm interested. I really like the Jets. I think the Jets bring a lot to the table. I think the Bills window, unfortunately, closed very quickly. You know, from that standpoint, they had a couple of years there where they could have made some waves and didn't. I like the Bills. I really want them to win. If the Steelers don't win, I love the Bills. I do. My mom's family's from Verona, New York. I would love to see the Bills get a championship, more so than the Browns.
I
I had to throw that in.
I know there's a small part of you, whether you want to admit it or not. There's there's a small place in your heart
There
where
is.
you pull for the
I
Browns.
wouldn't even listen. I told you this before. I wouldn't mind if the Browns won the Super Bowl. I would just hate the next day and probably the next rest of my life because I'd have to hear about it from guys like you and Browns fans all over the place that we won it. We're the best team in the world. We'll never, ever, ever, do anything. Da, 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 da. Nobody ever expected this. We're the underdogs. You've had 75 first. That's my thing. You're not an underdog when you have every first round draft pick known to man.
Well, that I agree. Like for the longest time, and I agree with you. They've had all those picks. For the longest time, they just took horrible players. I think these last going back to last 5 years now, the problem to me hasn't been the roster. They've had really talented players. It just hasn't they haven't been consistent. It hasn't worked out one way or another for whatever reason. But that's the reason I didn't put the Browns as a surprise because I don't think like if they play well this year and they win a bunch of games and are in the playoffs in a contender, I don't think it's that shocking to too many people, and I think you would be included in that. Like I don't think it's gonna blow you away if the Browns are in the postseason. It might blow you away if they would get all the way to the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl. But I don't think that you think the cupboard is bare with the Browns. Even
It's not bare, but it's not good. Like I know you're super high on Deshaun Watson. That's like it. That's your guy. You think he's going to return to superstar status. I don't know. I don't know that that's the case. If he does, that's a big surprise. It's an exciting time for you guys. But I think that's so. I don't know. It's one of those things like for the Browns. There's a lot that has to go right. A lot because I think that might be the toughest division in the NFL.
yeah, but with that being said, I also think that it's that way for every AFC, aside from maybe Cincinnati, because but the rest of the AFC North
See, I don't
doesn't.
think so. I don't think that. I think the Browns are in the worst spot in the AFC North, unless, and this is a big unless Lamar Jackson gets hurt in Baltimore at some point, like he did last year, and then Baltimore goes right to the bottom of the pile immediately.
Well, I mean, he's been hurt the last 2 years, so it's not really the biggest
And
stretch.
I feel I took him in fantasy football this year, so I'm a little bit nervous about it because he's a dynamic player when he's on the field. However, if he's off the field, that team stinks. Like the tight ends go down, the receivers go down. I got J.K. Dobbins. I basically drafted the AFC North on my fantasy football team because I think it's going to be that competitive. But you look at if Joe Burrow goes down in Cincinnati, I think they've got a tough time, but that defense is strong enough to get them through. If Kenny Pickett goes down in Pittsburgh, the defense will pull them through. If Deshaun Watson goes down, who's the backup?
Uh, Dorian Thompson Robinson from UCLA.
That's usually a good program that pumps out a lot of quarterbacks.
DTR. He had a really good preseason.
Preseason. I'm super happy about preseason. We're talking about preseason here.
I mean, but I get.
Did he work
that,
with the
DJ,
ones?
But you got to start somewhere. Like, would you rather like Pickett lit it up in the preseason? Would you rather have had him stunk up the joint? Like, you got to start somewhere.
Did he play against the ones?
I don't know. Did he face the ones?
Yeah, I'm asking.
I think he did. Yeah,
he did.
He did,
and he was on fire.
He was, yeah,
against the ones.
It might have been the twos, but
Okay. I'm just asking. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't judge me by my smile. Be curious, Scotty, not judgmental. Okay.
Okay. But you're all. It seems like, and I don't think you would just say this because again, I think there's things you kind of liked for years about the Browns, but it seems like, and this would be kind of a hot take, but I get the feeling you think Nick Chubb has peaked already,
I
and
do.
you don't really see him being the best back these next couple years, or one of the best backs, even maybe this year. You I get the feeling you think he peaked last season, maybe, and um, I already know you're not the highest on. I think you like Amari Cooper, but the rest of the receiving core you think is just kind of like meh. The defense was terrible last season. Yes, they made a lot of changes, but uh, you definitely. I'm gonna put it this way. I get the feeling that if the Browns only won like 6 games this year, that wouldn't surprise you at all.
No, what they win last year?
7.
Yeah, I think they're going to be right around that 6-7 mark. I do. I think they'll get a win over the Bengals. They could get a win over the Steelers. I don't like for the Browns that the Steeler game is week 2 in Pittsburgh, correct?
Week 2 in Pittsburgh,
Yeah,
Monday Night Football.
I think that works against them. You know, they could get the Steelers in Cleveland at some point. Because that's late in the season, isn't it? Pardon me.
The second game, I think it is later. I haven't looked at the schedule in a little while, but I think the second game is like November, sometime in November.
So, I mean, based on injuries, you mean you could do if TJ Watt goes down again, if the Steelers have a rash of injuries like they did last year, but they got injuries at the beginning of the year and got stronger at the end. That's where the Steelers. That's why everybody in Pittsburgh's so excited. I think they're going to have problems with the Ravens. I really do. I think that the defense lost a lot in Cleveland, and they're hopefully because Watson's getting paid more than $1 million this year. Last year it was just $1 million. This year he's up against the cap, so they had to let some of these guys go and try to do work in the draft. And I know they got a defensive lineman that you really like.
Yeah, I mean, there's some guys that I think
from Minnesota, right?
Could be. Yeah, they got him in free agency. Zadarius Smith.
Yeah, so
I like him a lot.
He could be an impact player. I mean, the bookend, but I think that this is a year that Myles Garrett's going to take a step back.
See, that's where I disagree. I think this is going to be Myles Garrett's best season yet, because I think, again, it's going to sound like I'm picking on your Steelers here. This is taking nothing away from TJ Watt, but also the Steelers have done a great job putting complementary pieces around TJ Watt. Zadarius Smith is by far the best free agent acquisition the Browns have put around Myles Garrett. So
better than Jadeveon Clowney?
I think he is, yeah. Clowney was good against the run, really didn't give you anything as far as the pass rush. I think Zadarius Smith is a definite upgrade.
Interesting.
Just my opinion.
Now, you also were pretty high on every Brown that came into the locker room for the last 6 years. So, do we really feel like this is the guy?
Take it with a grain of salt, because you know me. I mean, I was drinking the Baker Kool-Aid, especially after 2020. So
you loved some Jadeveon Clowney too. You loved him.
that first year, I thought he was really good.
And then
The year two last year, he was not very good.
you know who I think the Browns got rid of that they regret is Ogunjobi. I think he was a dog on the inside.
And then he went to Cincinnati and played really well
And then
too.
he played in Pittsburgh, played well last year, and got a 3-year contract out of it.
Yeah, and that's the what do you think? Not to get too far off topic, but as far as like free agent acquisitions, um, do you think Patrick Peterson for this? Do you think he has anything left in the tank?
I do. I think he's got a decent amount of juice left in the tank, but I think he's there for his leadership. I think he's there to lead guys like JPJ and Joey Porter Jr. Um, and some of these defensive backs. They just got it back from that was an All Pro a couple years ago from the Texans, and they didn't have to give up anything really for it. And it ended up being kind of like a trade because Kendrick Green went to Houston, and we got this King guy in the defensive backfield. So I think it's Desmond King. So I'm excited. I'm excited just for football to be back. I'm excited that my Sundays are filled now. That because here's the thing: Sundays are like my rest day. But if there's nothing to do, I feel obligated to do work. Right. So now at least I can do work and watch football. And I've got the Sunday ticket because it's on YouTube TV now. So I'm feeling great. I don't have to subscribe to DirecTV, none of that garbage. I can watch my Steelers games. I don't have to fiddle between Pittsburgh and Cleveland. I can just watch my Pittsburgh games.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try. I think I'm gonna try to guilt trip my dad into getting me some Sunday ticket
It's
because
awesome.
I don't know if you heard, but there's a bunch of like Direct TV's one in my cable company. I no longer have ESPN right now because of so I'm like this is not good. Like I have to have this for the so I'm either gonna have to spend more times in my dad's, go somewhere to watch it. I'm gonna have a talk with them about getting me that
Hey,
Sunday ticket.
you know where you can watch sports absolutely free and never be cut off from the cable company?
Where is that?
YSN, baby. Right here on YSN. You can watch all the high school and youth sports you want right here all the time, open 24/7, and you don't have to pay a dime. Now, it doesn't help you with the Browns or Steelers or anything, but I tend to like the high school athletes a little bit more and college athletes, by the way, Scotty. We haven't got to this. Westminster, my school, my you can watch them right here on YSN starting Saturday.
Yeah, it is a sweet deal. I was reading about the partnership. Actually, our boy Radar was asking me about
Oh boy.
it, and I told him I'm
Oh,
like,
Scotty, did you see that YSN has acquired Westminster?
that's a pretty good Radar. I think, although overall though, I think Anthony's done the best Radar that
Anthony?
I yeah
Really?
he has a he does them perfect. At least last week, the one time he did it for me, he did it.
Oh, I
It
can't
was
wait.
perfect.
We had a situation last night. Promise. We had a situation last night where one of our announcers got locked in a press box. He did a game, I guess, and this is just kind of what I've picked up. I haven't talked to the young man yet. He did a game. He's doing a soccer game, and I guess everybody thought that the game was over. Lock up after you're done. Well, our guy was taking down his equipment, got locked in the press box following the game. Luckily, he made it out, but we got a text in our group chat about trying to get the AD's phone number so he could get out of the press box. I've never had that happen before. Never envisioned it happening, but of course, anything goes on YSN.
Oh man, anything goes. You just never know. when it's another day in Damian Stone's neighborhood.
Damian Stone's neighborhood. Hey, let's take a break, recoup, and we'll get right back to talking about the upcoming year. Bold predictions, sure to go wrong, coming up right after this on your sports network.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
The feeling when my hands are on the piano, it's become comforting. It's somewhere that I can express myself. I go to Youngstown State University and my passion is playing music. YSU is allowing me to take what I love and turn it into a career and do it every single day of my life. I'm Alyssa, and I'm YN proud.
My guy keeps it 100% of the time. He wants all 100, won't settle for 99. And it's more than stats, because there's people in those numbers. And I was one of the lost sheep. I'm so glad he cares for all 100. I'm 100% safe, 100% free, 100% love. I can be 100% me. He gave all 100 when they put him up on that tree. That's 100% passion for 100% free. So if I play in front of 100, or if I play in front of 2, there's an audience of 1 getting 100% of what I can do.
All right, back we come here in Athletics Studio with the Ysn Power Hour, brought to you by our friends at the Toyota of Warren dealership. Make sure if you're in the business for a new car, Scotty, I know you're in the market. Get out there to our friends Tino and the whole crew out there, and they got the Toyota Tundra just chef kiss. Unbelievable. I love driving that thing around. I feel like a lot of people know where I am, which is kind of weird. I get text messages all the time like, why are you here? And it's a little bit freaky, Scotty. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like Big Brother's on to me.
You're like, this is still America, right?
This is Damian Stone's America. We're talking NFL today, one of our favorite shows of the year. We're picking some teams. We're picking the conference winners. But first, we picked the surprise teams. Each individually. Scotty, the Jets, both out of the AFC East. Quickly, let's pick. Who's the team that's going to surprise you in a bad way? Who's going to have one of the worst seasons?
Surprise in a bad way. That's a really good question. And this may not be too bold. I know you've touched on them earlier, but I can definitely see a world this year where the Buffalo Bills go from a team that's been knocking on the door the last couple years and one of the cream of the crop at the AFC, I think there's a good chance they don't even make the playoffs.
Wow. Well, I mean, we've seen 3 teams from one conference make the playoffs before. That means that anybody in the AFC North would be out. I like 2 and 2. I do.
So you think 2 from the North will get in, 2 will be out?
Yep.
And
the East from the East as well. I think the Jets and the Bills get in. I think that the Patriots and the Dolphins are out.
So I'm assuming you got to have Cincinnati in your Steelers, right?
I think you're going to be surprised. I think I had Baltimore and Pittsburgh.
Baltimore and Pittsburgh.
I think Pittsburgh wins the division, as I'll say later. I think Baltimore gets the wild card. I think Lamar Jackson stays healthy. Now, there's part of me that's just saying that because I have him on my fantasy team, but I think J.K. Dobbins is going to be one of the best backs in the entire league.
I mean, he's always definitely, like, you're just waiting for that, like, breakout season from him. A couple of years ago, his season got taken away with an injury in camp, but he's definitely, since he came out of Ohio State, I'm like, he definitely has what it takes to be a top back.
I think OBJ is going to be a player this year. I think he's going to.
Do you?
I do. They've got 5. Some stat. I was watching their game a week ago. They've got 5 first-round draft picks at wide receiver. Not all theirs, but on the roster, they've got 5 first-round wide receiver draft picks.
Yeah, see, I'm not aboard the OBJ, and it's not because I don't think he's talented. He definitely has the talent. I just, like, he's one of those guys. I'm not gonna believe he's gonna stay healthy till he shows it, because he's really been injured like the last 5 years, and he didn't play at all last year. And he's had a lot of surgeries. I don't know. It seems like and again, I think he's still really talented, but it seems like his body is starting to break down a bit.
Let's get back to the topic. I don't like it, but I think that the 49ers are in for a long year. I think last year was an anomaly. I think that trading Trey Lance was not a great idea. I think that Dallas, this is going to sound crazy, I think Dallas could have Trey Lance being a starter by the end of the year. But I think the 49ers could be in for a long year from that standpoint. And it all starts, I think, on Sunday against Pittsburgh. I don't believe in their defense. I don't think that Deebo Samuel is nearly as good as what people think he is. Playmaker, yes, but it's one of those things where the sun has to be shining in order for him to make hay. He can't do anything really from, when the chips are against him. So I think San Francisco is going to be a team that surprises a lot of people in a bad way of not being able to repeat what they did last year, and the trend goes backwards a little bit. But that being said, I think San Francisco gets some nice draft picks, and they're back at it again next year. All right, let's start in the NFC. NFC North champion is?
NFC North champion is I'm gonna say that division, I feel like there's a couple teams, like, I feel like the Lions could go either way, and I feel really the same thing about Minnesota. The Packers and the Bears, I think they're still gonna struggle, but I'm gonna go give me the Lions. I'm going with the Detroit Lions.
I'm gonna go with Minnesota. I was hoping you wouldn't go Minnesota. I'm going with Minnesota. I like Justin Jefferson. I like what they're building. Kirk Cousins, I think everybody's fallen in love with him after the quarterback show, that documentary. So I'm going with I'm going with the Lions. I'm going with the Vikings for the NFC North. NFC South, who's your winner?
NFC South. That's another division I feel like leaves a lot to be desired from an entertainment's perspective. But I jumped aboard this train years ago. I can't abandon them now. Give me my boy Baker Mayfield.
I knew you were going to do
Tampa
it.
Bay Buccaneers.
I knew you were going to jump back on the Baker train. I knew it. So am I. I'm taking the Bucks. I think Baker's going to have an explosive year. Not MVP, not anything like that. I think Baker Mayfield's going to show why he was a number 1 overall draft pick and couldn't shake on kind of sending him down his way packing. NFC East.
NFC East. So let me think. You got Philly, the Giants.
That's all you need to say right there. Philly.
Yeah, nobody else is gonna touch them this year.
I got Philly winning the Super Bowl.
The Cowboys, they look great on paper, but they have for years. And again, that's much like my Browns. They've underachieved. And I just feel like Dak always chokes when they need him the most.
Yep.
And Jalen Hurts, really kind of, it was his own personal showcase last year.
In the Super Bowl.
He showed me a lot.
Yeah, he was a star. I mean, that was one of the best quarterback performances we've ever seen in the Super Bowl, and he lost.
And that defense is for real too. So yeah,
I'm just saying, I got
all over.
I have
Eagles.
50 on the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. Just like you put 50 on the Browns. I like my money a whole lot better at this point.
Well, the Eagles have made a couple in the last century. So,
that's true too.
So that helps.
So I feel good about that.
But
so you like the Eagles in the NFC East. Who do you like in the NFC West?
NFC West. I blank on all the. So who we got? Seattle,
San Francisco,
the Rams.
Yeah,
right?
The Rams, and then who else? Who's that fourth team?
Arizona.
Ah, there it is. There it is.
You know what? I think he played really well last year, and I think he's actually kind of underrated. I like Geno Smith.
Yep, I'm going with Seattle too. We're on the same. We're on the same page on multiple. What is this? 3 now that we're on the same page.
This is weird.
3 out of 4.
I guess this is what happens when you're living in Damian Stone's neighborhood.
A cup of sugar and some new picks for the NFL season. All right, 3 out of 4. We're both taking Seattle in the NFC West. All right, let's move it over to the AFC. AFC South. Who do you like?
Well, I couldn't give you one of my biggest pleasant surprises and not say they're not going to win the division. So I have to go with the Jaguars.
Jags in the South. I like that. I think the Titans could be dangerous, but I do like the Jags with that pick. That's 4 out of 5, Scotty. This is getting ridiculous. AFC West.
AFC West. I hate to I hate to not be bold. Like I hate doing this, but until somebody knocks Casey off, you can't go against them.
I'm gonna go with Los Angeles. The Los Angeles Chargers. I'm gonna go with.
You're a Justin Herbert believer, huh?
Yep. I think that if Kelsey can't get turned around quickly, the Chiefs are going to be a slow starting team.
And their stud on defense too is holding out, so that's another thing they got to deal with right now.
I just saw Zigo flying. He just ran the 40-yard dash. I don't know why. I think that if you don't have Kelsey, you don't have some of. I mean, you're having depth issues already. That is not good. And I don't know. I do know. There's nobody that can replace Travis Kelsey. You can't just throw in a left tackle or throw in some slub that does not have that doesn't have his ability.
Yeah, people talk about and again, he's a great coach, but people talk about the mastermind. And I think even Michael Vick said recently how he should be considered maybe over Belichick as the greatest coach ever.
I think it's smart,
but it's easy for him to be a genius and be that creative when you had you have a Patrick Mahomes, you had a Tyreek Hill, and you have a Travis Kelce.
Well, I mean, the argument can be made for Belichick and Brady, Gronkowski, a great kicker in Gostkowski and Adam Vinatieri. I mean, it can be made both sides. I mean, we've had the conversation of coaches and players who makes a bigger impact. Coaches have to have the players. That's just how it is, right? Yeah. Tomlin doesn't get to 15 years without a losing record, without the players that he has, right? So, but you got to have the coaching too to get them to the promised land. The Browns have had some of the best rosters we've ever seen. And to your point that you make every single week, they can't do anything with it. They got one playoff win in the last 30 years. So, AFC East, who do you have?
AFC East. So this is the one where I told you that I could definitely see this being part of the first year of the Bills falling off, their demise.
You believe it?
So I do believe it, and I'm going with Miami, baby.
Miami.
I know it's a big if, but if Tua stays, if he could stay upright, I think he's pretty damn good QB, and I think they have tons of weapons around them, and I think that defense is underrated too. The Jets, I think I have a feeling you're gonna go with New York, but the one thing about them is I do feel like Aaron Rodgers, whether it was all his fault, I do feel like he had the worst year of his career last year, and he did regress a little bit. So I have concerns. Is he washed? Because not everybody plays great at 40 some years old like Tom Brady. Not saying Rodgers isn't even 40 yet, but he's close. So that's my big concern.
All right. So we've got you taking the Dolphins. I'm going to take the Jets. I've already pled my case for the Jets. I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to make big time waves, at least for 1 year in New York. The Buffalo Bills will get better and they'll take back the division next year. But I think that they get in as a playoff team. I think Miami and New England are on the outside looking in. Here we go. The AFC North. Scotty, your division winner.
Come on. Did you really have to ask me?
I do, because I want to hear you say it so we can play it back.
You know, I can't go against my Browns. I think you're greatly underestimating this roster. And as much as I have the same questions you do about Deshaun Watson, and some of the concerns are real and are legitimate, I'm just going to say Deshaun Watson's made 3 Pro Bowls in his career. Baker Mayfield never made one. So he has all everything you want just from a skill set and a quarterback. Now he just has to go out and do it on the field. I think the Browns win the division this year, win their first division title since 1989. I was a baby, DJ, a baby, and they're going to do it this year. This is our year, damn it. It's our time.
I don't think so, Tim. I don't think so, Tim. I think the Browns are the bottom. I think the basement dwellers, 6 to 7 wins, maybe. I don't know who they're gonna beat.
Wait, you say maybe when they won? So are you saying that Jacoby Brissett and our boy Baker Mayfield, are both better than Deshaun Watson's.
I think Brissett is better for that offense. Yes. I also think that I think the division has gotten better since Brissett and Baker were there.
I think the Browns have gotten better too, though.
There's no proof of that. There's no evidence of that. They didn't make the playoffs last year.
No, they didn't. But just like, who would you rather have right now, Odell Beckham or Amari Cooper?
It depends on who's throwing to him.
Deshaun or Lamar.
Lamar?
You pick either one.
Lamar Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson. A guy that won an MVP.
Yes, he won.
And he's a Pro Bowler every time he takes the field.
That was a long time ago, though.
3 years?
That's an eternity.
Yeah, you're right, because that's the last time it took 3 years to get Watson back on the field. And now you think he's going to come back to the form that he was in Houston, where he still didn't win an MVP, and he still only won 2 playoff games, which is only 50% more than the Browns won as a team. So the dude can't play in cold weather, number one. So you're not going to get to the Super Bowl to play in the warm weather Super Bowl. I'm just listen, it's I don't want to break your heart, Scotty, but I kind of do, because every time you pick the Browns, you turn into this little spunky, like just crazed maniac Browns fan. I'm sorry, buddy.
But
it's not going to happen.
That's part of what drew me to the day before I had the interview with you.
Oh, come on!
I read on Ysn, and it said we encourage homers.
Oh, I love homers, but I mean, listen. I just don't want to see you go through this again. As your friend, I don't want to see you get your heart broken. So I'm trying to set you up with a little bit of a smaller step stool.
You're trying to soften the blow,
buddy. It's not going to be a good year.
I think you're crazy. I think there's more of a chance the Ravens don't make the playoffs than the Browns don't make it this season.
Do you want to bet on that?
Yeah.
There it is. The handshake. You're saying that the Browns will finish over the Ravens in the standings.
Yeah, they're gonna fit. They're number one, baby.
Browns.
Numero uno.
I'll give you $50 if the Browns win the division. If you give me $50 if the Browns don't.
If they don't, you're on, buddy.
Does anybody know what I can do with $50 now? I mean, I'll just put 50 more on the Eagles to win the Super Bowl, because I'm putting that 50 on the Steelers to win the division.
All right.
I love it. I love it.
I love this too. I can't wait. I can't wait to see. Oh man, this is the year,
Scotty,
I've waited for my whole life.
This
is our year. They put so much into this team. They're loaded at every position.
I think you're loaded.
They
thinking that this team is loaded.
They finally have the guy
who
that can take them to the front.
The guy that couldn't throw a screen pass last year.
He
hasn't played for 3 years. It's an eternity. You got to let him have a couple off.
He had enough off seasons, Scotty. He had enough off seasons.
He's a little rusty. He's got to get better.
And then when he got the rust knocked off against Baltimore, right? He met Pittsburgh, and that didn't go well. Well, we watched that one together with your dad, who I think drank himself into oblivion that game because everything was going wrong.
Yeah, and then he took a long nap.
A very long nap
after that. But yeah, I mean, we'll find out. I mean, I don't know if you heard, but recently they asked Watson about this opener against Cincinnati, and he said it's going to be fireworks.
Okay, so if the Browns start 0-2, how are you feeling? 2 division losses right off the jump. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh.
Oh, you better call the like a neighborhood watch or something.
We're watching. We're gonna have a watch party for that second game, that Monday Night Football game. We got to have a watch party. Maybe we'll be at Double Bogeys that night. Maybe we'll have a watch party at Double Bogeys.
I'm always down. I mean,
because I want everybody to get those frosted mugs and put them right under your cheeks so we can get those Scotty tears and just drink them.
You know, it's
42-6, by the way, week 2.
42-6. Oh my! I can't even. Like, first of all, I'm always. It seems like I pin so much, and I do believe that they can do it. But you know, the last time they won in Pittsburgh, do you know who the quarterback was? A regular season game.
Oh, I don't know. Not the playoff. I thought you were bringing the playoff game up for the millionth time. No, I don't know. Tim Couch?
Tim Couch. Way back in the year 2003.
Wow.
So they have not won a regular season game in Pittsburgh in 20 years.
So there's a very real chance that the Browns could go 0-2 to start the season.
It's definitely out there, but I just feel like it's their time. The stars are aligning.
All right, who's gonna win the Super Bowl? Who's your Super Bowl pick? Don't do it.
You really think?
Don't do it.
You really think I'm going elsewhere?
You say it. Speak it into existence, brother.
I have to, this team.
Oh my God!
I don't see an area where it just keeps me up and I can't sleep. This team is stacked. The Chiefs. I don't care what anybody says when you win that Super Bowl and you're defending it. I know they almost won back-to-back a couple years ago, but everybody goes just a little bit harder at Kansas City when they're the defending champs. I don't see anyone repeating again. Brownies winning the Super Bowl.
Did you wear that shirt today just so you could talk about the Browns winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah, of course. Well, you know this is a huge year too because it's year number 3.
Oh, I know it's a huge year.
So
that's why when they start going 0-2, I can feel that cash just ching.
I just can't wait to get
Brownies.
that $50.
Brownies, dude. Think about it. You're gonna be out like $300 by the time the Browns don't win the championship next year.
Well, possibly, but I got to roll with them, man. I can't get back now.
I'm not gonna be
every time I'm out, DJ, they pull me back in.
I'm not gonna be a homering nitwit. I want the Steelers to win the Super Bowl. I want that out there. My heart wants Pittsburgh, but my head's telling me Philly. I think Philly has a team that cannot be stopped this year. I think they could very well end up as the first ever 17-0 team. They're that dangerous.
So you think they're even more? I mean, I know they didn't win it, but like the Tom Brady when they had Randy, the 07 Patriots, like that team, like I know Eli beat them, but that was one of the scariest, at least during the regular season. That was one of the scariest teams I've ever seen. Do you think they're better than a team like that?
This is the team that was the NFC champion last year, remember? This is a team that had the best draft in the NFL at pick 31. Think about that. 30. No. Take that back. 30. Pick 30. Because the Steelers had 32nd pick this year.
But you don't know about drafts.
I'm telling you that the Eagles had the best draft across the board in the NFL, and they were the second best team in the NFL, arguably the first best team. That Patrick Mahomes had a ridiculous game. The Chiefs played. I mean, that was a ridiculous game by itself. The offense is going to be.
They were beating them in half.
The offense is going to be fireworks. The defense is going to be stingy. AJ Brown's going to have a huge year. I really don't see anybody beating the Philadelphia Eagles. I could be way off base.
Well, who do you have coming out of the AFC? The
Pittsburgh.
Jets?
Pittsburgh.
You have them getting to the Super Bowl.
I do. I think their defense is nasty, and I think it gets nastier as they go along. But again, I hate injuries. On paper, right? That's where some of these people on this studio live. On paper, I think the Steelers have one of the best defenses in the league. Second, maybe only to Philadelphia.
That's hard to disagree with there. I'm just concerned about the offense. Like I said, not saying that Kenny Pickett can't be good or won't be good, but there's a big difference between having great games in your rookie year and then carrying it over to year two. Because I was drinking the Baker, maybe you remember I had the Baker hat. And then 2019, they get Odell. I'm like, this is going to be the best season ever. And down the toilet.
So I'm going to tell you that Kenny's going to do what Baker couldn't. Baker had a tough locker room around him. Kenny's a very supportive locker room around him with a coach that really wants him to succeed. Because I'm finding out quickly there's not a whole lot of love for Ben Roethlisberger out there. When he left, it was like there was a Father Time left with Roethlisberger. The Steelers look reinvigorated. They look excited. There's a new atmosphere. There's a new culture in that locker room. They'll probably outkicking their coverage here. I think the Chiefs could probably get to the dance. I think I picked the Chargers out of the West. They could probably do it. The Jets could probably do it. I think it's going to be a dogfight in the AFC, but everybody's going to play second fiddle to the Philadelphia Eagles.
But do you think if the Steelers get to that game, like anything could happen, right? So
for sure
they have a shot to win the whole thing.
I'm picking the Eagles. Don't try to talk me out of it. Yeah, because I don't want you thinking that I'm listen, I love my Steelers, but there is a beast that lays awake over in Eastern Philadelphia or Eastern Pennsylvania, and it is we can have an all Pennsylvania Super Bowl.
Well, that's something I wanted to ask you about real quick too. Like Pittsburgh and I know it's heated in hockey. Like you cannot be
I hate the Flyers.
Yeah, you hate them. But NFL, is there? I'm not saying just you exclusively, but is there animosity between
no.
If they face off the Steelers and the Eagles, is there any hate there?
No, we save that for Baltimore.
Okay.
We just feel bad for you guys.
Yeah, you feel bad for us, and then you say how the Cleveland fan is always woe is me.
Yeah.
But it's what else would we be?
We're gonna kill you. We're gonna kill you this week. We're gonna kill you. We're gonna kill you. And then they lose, and they're like, it's because the Browns stink. We're cursed. Art Modell cursed us. Get over yourself.
Not this year, baby.
Yeah, okay.
It's all turning around.
Make sure that you send that right over to my Venmo account 2 weeks into the season, all right? That's going to do it for our show today. Thanks for listening to our jibber jabber. We want to hear about your picks. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Put it in the comments. We read these things. We appreciate you tuning in, whether it's live, whether it's down the road. We want to hold ourselves accountable. Scotty, we're going to tell him when the Browns win the Super Bowl, we're going to tell him how great of a team they are and how he is the maestro. Mincher the maestro.
Year 3, baby. This has got to be it.
You're out of your mind. For Scotty Mincher, I'm DJ Yoakley. This has been the YSN Power Hour presented by our friends at Toyota of Warren. We'll see you tomorrow, Thursday edition of the Power Hour, 3 to 4, right here on your Sports Network.
YSN thanks you for watching.